Good morning. I hope you're safe and well because that is the most important thing. Excuse me. So what have we got for you today? Well, the very first thing is to do with ADR. That's the carriage of dangerous goods by road. Now, Andy Lines, DGSA, sent me through a really interesting article for this week's newsletter, saying that if you've had a look at ADR 2025, and not everybody has had the time to do that yet, apparently asbestos has got a whole pile of changes coming in how it can be transported. And that's a big worry, because if you are trying to dispose of asbestos from your site or from contaminated land on a site you're redeveloping or whatever, clearly you need to move it off site. And according to Andy, who knows far more about these things than I do, because I am not a DGSA or really understand that world particularly, according to him, there are a lot of changes that are going to make it much harder to move asbestos wastes and much more expensive. Now, what Andy has done is he's forwarded an email, because there was a bit of a scandal about this, because he forwarded the email to the Asbestos Association in the UK, and they hadn't realised this was coming into ADR 2025. And they forwarded it to the HSE, and the HSE didn't know either. And so the HSE then sent a document back to the Asbestos Trade Association, and then Andy sent it back to me, and we've popped it in this week's newsletter because we think it might be in draft, but it gives a kind of an overview of these changes. So I am just going to pop the sign up to the newsletter in there, because it'll be coming out at 9:30. If you're not already on the mailing list, it is in there as an attachment, but I don't want to sort of put it out publicly because, you know, we don't quite know what's going on yet. But it looks very much like these changes to asbestos have been made without proper consultation, at least here in the UK. And I just wanted to flag it up for all of our people who are either DGSAs or handling asbestos, or are on a factory where you have to deal with historic asbestos. So I hope that's a useful heads up. So that's the first thing that we've got for you. Now, the second thing is actually HSE as well, but in a better way, because we've just heard this week, thanks to Ali, who's back at work, yay, that there are 3 new agency opinions coming out. And I'm going to put the link where you can download the Excel spreadsheet. It's called Publications Supporting Ministerial Decisions on New or Revised GB Mandatory Classification and Labelling. And I'll put this link in just now. And you need to look for the agency opinions page, I believe. On that page, there is the downloadable Excel sheet, and then you can get to it. Now, Ali says that there are actually 3 things that are different. Hang on, let me just check that. Yes, it's bixlozone, which is a plant protection product not used in the EU, solvent violent 13 and pigment red 83, which currently have no EU harmonized classification. Now, that doesn't mean to say there isn't going to be one in the future, and maybe the HSE are just getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but it's certainly worth taking a look if you're involved in any of those 3 products and see what the HSE think the classifications should be. So again, I hope that's useful. Right, so you'll be thinking, never mind that, what have we got for our reasons to be cheerful today? And the answer is, we have got an American comic called Brad Stine on offensive signs, or when a sign becomes offensive. That sounds a bit silly, but actually it's really funny. But there's also a lot about grammar in there and the meaning of words, which I really like to put it that way. So I'm just going to put the link below this video now. So thanks very much for watching. If you're joining us live, we really appreciate the support. I hope that you have a really good weekend, and I hope to be able to chat to you again next week if we're spared. Take care of yourselves. Bye.